All right, sorry about that. So, like I'm saying, I'm Rudy Marquez. I'm 32 years old, and I live in sunny Southern California. The clouds are rolling in, so it's fucked right now. But I am a fiance to a gorgeous woman that I've been with for about 4 years now. We just got engaged in December, and we have a whole crazy experience and a lot of stories in our life, good and bad. And but I won't get into many details about my personal relationship, to be honest, just out of respect for her. And but I'm very open to hear other people's, and I'll try to be as open and vulnerable as possible. But aside from my amazing fiance, I got two beautiful girls. I got a 4-year-old and a 9-year-old. My God, 9 years. Fuck, I'm old, dude. I look old too. I have gray hair. You don't know, I have gray hair. But anyways, uh, I got my two daughters. Raising daughters is not easy, especially as a male, but hopefully I'll figure it out. Sorry, I had a message. Um, I am divorced, 4 years divorced from my ex-wife, which I had the two children with, and I co-parent as much as we possibly can together. Uh, but sometimes it gets rough, and I've learned to work through that relationship, and I'm definitely open about that, and I want to be talking about that on the podcast. Um, in the same time that my ex-wife told me she's out, I was diagnosed with depression, and in the same week, you know, and synchronicity, everything falls on you at once, and that's how I felt. I felt the weight of the world just falling on me, and I was 28 years old at that time. I had a 4-year old and a 6-month old. Um, so to make it short, if I felt real fucked up at that point in my life, um, and I'll go into details on the podcast about it. Um, kind of moving forward, in 2013 I had a bike accident, and then I got out of the hospital, and I was introduced to the shitty world of opioids, um, tramadol and Norco. Tramadol at the time was not considered a narcotic, and I don't know if it is still, but it might be considered a narcotic still. Regardless, it still had the euphoric effects of like Norco. And as soon as I felt that euphoria, and I noticed nobody else saw it around me, other than me getting hot, I used to get fucking like hot, man. And I had popped those things in left and right, man. And I remember they gave me 120 Norcos, 120 fucking Norcos as soon as I left the hospital. And I didn't take them for like a couple weeks. And then one time I took them, and I had a conversation with my family for like 2 hours. It was a fucking trip, but nobody knew I was just loaded on um, painkillers. So along with my opioid dependency at that point, I was drinking. I've been drinking since I was like 15, man. And it started out social, as most of them do, and then it went like towards the end. It was just isolated drinking by myself and shit. The one man party. That's bad, you know. And I had a dependency on it, and it took a toll on me. I took antidepressants and painkillers and drinking on top of it. Like nearly burned a hole in my tummy, dude. I almost got real fucked up off that. So I've recovered since, and I don't drink anymore. I haven't had a drink since last June. But I say that like I'm not like a crazy alcoholic that was drinking from dusk till dawn or chasing the dragon. I just drank, like binge drank every weekend, and then the binge drinking went to every other day. So I co-parent with my ex, so I have my girls every other day basically, and the days I didn't have them, you catch me at the bar, and I'd have like 6 to 8 drinks, come home, ignore my girlfriend at the time, now fiance, and crash out. The next day I'd have my daughter, so I wouldn't drink. I did drink around my daughters, like at social settings and shit, around family. What I knew the girls were gonna be safe and taken care of. I cut loose a little bit, but excuse me. Around 2016, I started getting off the opioids, and I was taking antidepressants at the time, but I was not consistent at all. I like never followed the suggested dosage amounts, and I was drinking on top of it. So when they tell you that 4 to 6 week mark, when you really start feeling the effects of an antidepressant, I never gave it that opportunity. And I'll be honest with you, like I was dishonest to myself, to my psychiatrist, to my fiance, to everyone around me. It even got to the point where I blamed them. No bullshit. I started blaming them for a bunch of shit, and like I was running from my problems, so I was like dependent on that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I would just drink, and I thought I was taking the antidepressants, and oh yeah, I'm getting my shit together. Meh, wrong. Um, I didn't get it together. So I drank, and me and my fiance, we were together. We split up. I kicked her out of the house. I was acting very irrational. I started having like hallucinations where I started believing things that were not true, and they were just distorted thoughts. And I built this whole culture in my head around drinking, and I just ran, dude. I fucking ran, dude. And it took me a while to kind of grow up. Like, it's a trip. I tell my therapist all the time. I feel like just a fucking late bloomer, dude. Like, I'm 32 years old, and I feel like I don't even know who I am. So, this podcast is going to be my journey through mental health, my successes, and my failures. Um, and I want everyone to kind of just. The, the only thing I'd want from a peer listener is just that unconditional love, man, where, there's no judgment. And I can speak freely of my thoughts and my problems and be wrong. Like, I have no problem being wrong. I really don't. If I'm wrong, I want to make it right. But if I'm not wrong, I'm going to stand up for it. You know what I'm saying? Um, for me, I consider myself an everyday guy. What this means is a guy who deals with real life scenarios in middle class America. It's not necessarily about race or politics, although those do play key factors in a lot of different people's lives. But for me, I've chosen to kind of not have that shit, and race is merely a way for them to categorize us. Um, and I understand it. I'm not a fucking retard. And I'm not. Oh shit! I shouldn't say that. I think you can't say that word anymore. But I'm not gonna edit my stuff. So I apologize. I shouldn't say that word. But I'm not a dumb person that allows myself to fall into the rhetoric of politics. If you really cared, you'd care about your local government and your local politics. And if your kids are in the district, you'd care about the local school district politics too, because that plays a huge role in your everyday life. Um, Trump tweeting out something that that might make you upset. Does that really? You're gonna let that affect your everyday life, and you're gonna cause it to lose friendships and shit, and just like why you're gonna cause yourself such anguish over something that doesn't even really happen. So politics and race, I have my own views on it. I could be wrong, but fuck it. And so, along with just being an everyday guy, I suffer from depression and anxiety. Um, and some people I can see, especially in my family, they're just undiagnosed. And they have a lot of things that they need to work through, but I don't judge. If they want to, they can. If they have a way of doing it, fuck it, dude. If it's positive and doesn't hurt people around you, then do it. I'm all about just being positive. If you need to get liquored up to do anything in your life, you know, the dependency's there. You gotta get help with that. And you can call me, text me. I have a phone number set up for the podcast. That's 562-277-1449. That's 562 277-1449. You call that number, and if I don't answer, it'll go to the voicemail. I will pick it up. I'll listen to that voicemail, and I'll get back to you if you want me to. And if you want that shit shared on the pod, I'll put it on there. If you don't, you just let me know. No biggie. I would never cross any boundaries. I'm very open, and I'm very confidential. Um, Professional wise, I've been in banking, I've been in public school, and I maintain a great deal of confidentiality when talking to anybody, really. But going back to who I am, um, again, I had to fight those automatic thoughts that occur where I might feel pity towards myself for a certain situation that has come up. And I gotta break that cycle. I got two daughters that I love dearly, and I want them to have the best father that they can possibly have. Um, I'm not a terrible dad. I don't verbally abuse my children, and I don't physically abuse my children. I keep their butts in line when I need to, but overall, man, we have a great life together. And they love me. They really love me, unconditionally. They never ask of anything from me other than love. And that's different, you know. It's a different love. I don't know. I'll do my best to try to explain it, but hopefully we can explain it together on the podcast. I don't drink anymore. Like I said before, I haven't had a drink since like fucking June of last year. But I don't like. I don't. I'm not a crazy water walker. As some of my friends might say. Um, I still like the bar settings. I like being in the bar, and I don't have to drink. That's dope. I'll order one of those Heineken double zeros. Fucking chill with that thing, dude. He'll pour it in a glass so it makes it look like a beer. Fuck yeah, dude. And then I just watch people get lit, dude. People change. People change. It's funny, but I don't drink anymore. I got some. I got a green thumb at times, but I'll leave it at that. I'm on antidepressants that really work for me. I'm on two of them right now, Lamictal and Effexor, which is, I think, another term for Lexapro. But both of them are really working for me. I've quite past the 4 to 6 week marker, and I definitely feel like I'm able to think through my thoughts more clearly, and I don't feel those irrational emotions that come up and cause me to act irrational. So I am able to catch it from the thought before it hits the emotion. So for me, it's like thought, emotion, action. So I got to be able to catch it at that thought before it goes to emotion. So I can deal with it up there. Because once it goes to emotion, I start wearing it. And I start thinking, okay, well, if nobody wants to be around me, that's fine. And I'll just seclude myself. So then it goes to action, and I start secluding myself. So I got to catch myself at that fucking thought process. You know what I mean? Um, if some people have an opinion about antidepressants or taking medication, uh, I'd say if you're considering it, try it. Um, but be honest with yourself. If you're not giving it a full effort and you're not following the dosage and you're not, you got to take therapy or you got to do something. If you're into like working out, fucking work out. I got people in my family that I'll be like very frank. I won't say names of my family unless they feel comfortable, but I'll just always say members of my family. I have members of my family that work out and they fucking thrive off of it. You know, me, I fucking hate running, dude. And I stopped drinking, so I lost like 35 pounds. I'm down to 170, and I feel okay. I have a dad bod, I can't, but I'll fuck somebody up if I have to, you know, or I'll get beat up. But one of the two's gonna happen, I guess. That's always the case. But you know, you don't. If you don't know anything about it, don't say anything about antidepressants unless you tried them and you feel they just don't work or they change your mentality. I get it; those things happen, but uh, we gotta stop that stigma and shit. It's ridiculous. It's dumb. Um, but I could say, coming out of what I've gone through in the past, the two things that I'll always take away is positive luck and positive time. I'll explain. Positive luck is when things fall into place in your favor. Okay, so let me take you on a little scenario. For instance, you're stressed out about how much money you make, so you put yourself out there to see if you can earn some more money. You get an interview with the company you're with, right? Or you get an interview with an outside company. Unaware to you, of course, there's an internal candidate at that company that's already in the batter's box. He's ready to take the job. And you don't know this, but unfortunately, the company has policies where they need to fly the job to the public first before they can make a decision for an internal or external candidate. And you don't know this, of course, right? So this is a positive luck that can happen. And I've seen it happen. It's happened to me. And anyways, so um, that internal candidate that's on deck, you don't know. They also took an interview with a different job, and they get it. Company doesn't know. They end up leaving the company to take that job. You fill into that space. That's positive luck. Um, it, it it really is something that is almost uncontrolled for you. The only way I feel that you can control it is by putting it out there, by thinking, yeah, I am gonna get this, and I'm not gonna let any distorted thoughts or assumptions take take control of my actions. You know what I'm saying? The other one being positive time. Being positive time is it has to do a little more with you and your commitment and not being negative. So let me take you on another journey. You and your wife, or your husband, or your partner, you guys separate, and you guys are at each other's throats about the kids, about finances, trust, commitment, priorities. Who the fuck knows? Whatever you guys are going through, and as time goes on, you keep like getting it into your head, like, this fucking bitch, I can't believe she did this to me, or this jerk off, he did this to me, or I can't believe this asshole just did this to me, and you're building animosity towards that person. You're at the bar, you're chasing other women, you might have that true animosity. Maybe not to that extreme. Maybe you're a little more in the thought process. But either way, you're wasting time. Time is still going on. And you continue to spiral and you blame her, and your time's wasted. That's it. That's negative time. However, you start to realize if you're honest with yourself, I'm not saying like spill your heart with every goddamn woman or man or partner that you find, but if you're open with yourself, you can be open with other people. Uh, it, you continue to focus on your weaknesses. You gotta, you gotta work through them, and you gotta get the help you need. If you don't need the help, build that mentality. You'll become stronger. Get your ass into something active. I don't give a shit what it is, other than like a drug or drink, you know. Find something active, dude. Play, fuck, I don't give a fuck. I could play anything. I'm a natural athlete. That's right. I'm like that guy that turned into the lady, but the guy. Okay. Um, but make your time positive. You can build your time. You can build yourself to be a better person. And look, if you and her, him, and your partner are meant to be, it'll happen. It'll fucking happen. But if it's not, then maybe you gotta find the strength in yourself to find your own happiness. Uh, but you just can't waste your time, dude. Make your time work for you, homie. Shit. Um, those two things, along with my life experiences, that's kind of what I want the podcast to be, in that aspect, that seriousness, right? But also, there's a funny fucking side of me. I'm a hilarious person, and I find comedians. All right, I gotta lay out. I will definitely talk about comedy. Every chance I get, almost on every episode, I want to have a segment about comedy, and I'll tell you my three favorite comedians. The first or the third one, I'll start with the third one. Martin Lawrence. Martin Lawrence was funny as fuck. It was hard because Jamie Foxx is really funny, but Jamie Foxx didn't really do stand up as much as Martin Lawrence. And I've seen a lot more of Martin Lawrence's stand up, so I had to put him in the third spot. Uh, Richard fucking Pryor, dude. I listened to Richard Pryor at a very young age with my dad, and I loved it. I loved it. I still remember being a kid and shit, and Richard Pryor telling the joke when he's fucking coming out of that crack house and he's fucking running like a motherfucker, and he's like lit on fire because he got all burned and shit. But he made a joke out of it, you know, and then he found his peace when he went to Africa, and he just is a fucking interesting ass dude, man. And then the number one, I have to give it up to the Mac man, Bernie motherfucking Mac. I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. Bernie Mac is the fucking king. I love any movie he's in, and I love all his stand up, man. His cookies and milk. Oh my god. When he's talking shit about his kid, the kids he took in from his sister, he had me dying. Don't be judging me. Your family fucked up too. Aside from comedians, I really find comedy shows fucking funny. Number three for me, I'll lay out my top three, and again, I'm gonna touch on shows. I want to talk about them, and I want to be introduced to like different comedy shows. Number three has to be Curb Your Enthusiasm. Larry motherfucking David, fucking genius. That man. I liked Seinfeld. You know, it was cool, but I was always looking for something a little edgier. You know, maybe with cuss words. Larry motherfucking David. Mm, mm, mm. When he had a JB Smooth, game over. What was that, like season 6? When the blacks move in. That's their last day, man. I be racist. Oh shit. Alright, number two has to be The Office. The American one, not the UK one. I like Ricky Gervais, but I just can't get into it sometimes. But The Office, the American one, man. Michael Scott. They nail that corporate, small, like mid corporate office level shit. They really nail it. It's so relatable. And number one has to be Always Sunny in Philly. Charlie, Dennis, Mac, D, Frank. Oh my god. I know every episode I've watched. I watched them all. Uh, or like I said earlier in the pod, we're in the middle of Corona, COVID-19, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's a crazy ass epidemic that's going on. If you get a chance, go to Hulu and look at not Curb Your Enthusiasm, Always Sunny in Philly, the episode where the gang gets quarantined. So fucking funny, dude. Frank goes butt naked and just covers himself in sanitizer, slides around the fucking bar. Um, yeah, so like comedy, I really want to touch on movies. I'm a big movie buff. Comedy wise, it has to be Big Daddy. Um, it's just a real connection to me raising my nephew at a young age. Um, and I just always had a sick, crazy connection with that. The next is The Big Lebowski. Funny ass movie, dude. I think I watched that movie sober maybe like once or twice, but that movie is amazing. Number three is a recent one, but man, it's sticking with me. Big Time Adolescence. It's with Pete Davidson. It's with a kid from some James Franco movie. But it's amazing. It's amazing. I'm gonna pause this real quick.